He finally broke. For months, fans speculated, wondering, imagining, replaying every clip, every interview, every glance captured between them. But no one expected that on this quiet afternoon, during what was supposed to be a routine interview, Lee Min-ho would finally reveal the truth he had been carrying in silence. And it all began with one simple question. A question he wasn't supposed to answer. A question he had avoided 100 times. Why do people keep associating you with Kim Go-eun? The room froze. Cameras kept rolling. His manager shifted uneasily off-screen. The interviewer smiled, expecting the usual, a polite laugh, a diplomatic answer, a smooth deflection like always. But that day, Lee Min-ho didn't smile. He didn't deflect. He didn't run from the truth. Instead, he looked down, breathed in slowly, and for the first time, his walls cracked. He finally broke. And what he said next shook every fan across the world. To understand how he reached that moment, we need to go back. Back to the time when everything between them began. Not on screen, not in scripted lines, not in the perfectly choreographed romance of a drama, but somewhere quieter, softer, unexpected. It was never supposed to be real. Not for him, not for her. They were co-stars, professionals, two respected names in an industry where feelings often blur, but where acting is meant to stay acting. But something shifted, something grew, something refused to be contained. And in the beginning, neither of them noticed. It began with small things. The way he watched her when she didn't realize. The way she laughed around him with a softness no camera had ever captured. The way their conversations carried on after the director called cut, drifting into late-night talks and quiet moments shared behind the scenes. They weren't lovers. They weren't even aware of the slow, delicate string weaving between them. Until one day, he started looking forward to seeing her more than he cared to admit. And that was the first sign that something inside him was changing. Months passed. The drama aired. The chemistry was undeniable. Fans fell in love with them as a pair. But behind the scenes, Lee Min-ho tried to stay rational. He reminded himself, it was acting, just acting, nothing more. But the heart doesn't listen to logic. And neither did his. He found himself replaying scenes in his head. Not the romantic ones, the simple ones, the quiet ones, the way she tucked her hair behind her ear, the way she looked at the script with furrowed concentration, the way she smiled when he teased her. These were not scripted moments. These were not fictional emotions. These were the real cracks he tried to hide. And each day, she widened them without knowing. After the show ended, they drifted apart the way actors often do. New schedules, new commitments, different worlds spinning in different directions. And he expected it to fade. He expected the feelings to dissolve the moment the cameras stopped rolling. But instead, they grew stronger. Every time her name appeared in an article, he paused. Every time she was mentioned in interviews, he smiled without noticing. Every time she released new content, he watched quietly, never commenting, never liking, always staying in the shadows. And that was when he knew he was in trouble. Because if he could walk away, he would have. If he could detach, he would have. If he could silence his feelings, he would have. But he couldn't. Not with her. Not this time. Rumors began swirling. Fans noticed patterns. Whispers spread online. Matching outfits, coincidental travels, suspiciously similar locations. But the problem wasn't the fans' observations. The real problem was that Lee Min-ho no longer knew how to hide how he felt. Not from others. Not from himself. Not from her. Every time they met at private gatherings, his chest tightened. Every time she laughed near him, he felt the familiar warmth. Every time she called his name, something inside him softened. But he still didn't say anything. Because he was afraid, not of love, not of rejection, but the impact it could have on her. She had always been the grounded one, the private one, the one who didn't seek attention, who didn't chase the spotlight, who protected her life carefully from the chaos of fame, and he refused to be the reason that peace shattered. So he kept his feelings locked away, smiling in public, laughing through interviews, pretending everything was normal. But silence doesn't erase truth. It only hides it. And one day, The truth became too heavy to carry alone. Now we return to that interview, the one that changed everything. The interviewer didn't expect honesty. The staff didn't expect vulnerability. The fans certainly didn't expect the words that left his mouth. He looked up, his expression softened, and instead of answering the question with a script, he answered it with his heart. Why do people keep associating you with Kim Go-eun? He blinked slowly and said, because I never truly stay away from her. Silence. A stunned silence that filled the room like a storm waiting to break. He continued, there are people you meet once in your life who leave a mark you can't erase. People who change you without trying. For me, she is that person. He swallowed hard. I've tried to stay away. I have, more times than you can imagine. But I can't. I always end up going back. Not physically. Emotionally. Another pause. She makes life feel lighter. She makes work feel meaningful. She makes everything better. He gave a faint smile. I guess that's why people associate us. Because no matter how much time passes, some connections don't disappear. And then he said the words that sent the internet into meltdown. She matters to me more than I ever planned, more than I can explain, more than people know. Within minutes, the clip spread across platforms. Fans screamed. Comments exploded. News outlets rushed to translate and analyze every nuance. But the real question everyone asked was simple. What did Kim Go-eun think? Hours later, she posted a quiet photo online. Nothing dramatic, nothing too revealing. Just a simple picture of the sky, tinted gold by the setting sun. But the caption said everything. One day, the truth stops hiding. No hearts, no tags, no emojis, just a sentence strong enough to shake every corner of the internet. People debated its meaning. Was it coincidence? Was it a response? Was it a sign? But fans who followed them closely knew better. Kim Go-eun never posted without intent. Her words were always precise, always thoughtful, and her timing was never accidental. In the days that followed, Lee Min-ho stayed silent, not out of fear, but out of respect. He wanted her to speak in her own way, in her own voice, without pressure from him or the world. But fate has its own timing. A week later, they were spotted leaving the same building, quiet, discreet, almost unnoticeable. But fans did notice. They always do. And though they didn't walk side by side, though they kept a subtle distance, there was something unmistakable in the way he turned back to check if she was behind him. Something protective, something intimate, something impossible to hide. A gesture that spoke louder than words. People asked, what happens now?